Well, we're blasting abruptly into 2020 faster than my family's growing disappointment in me when they found out I'm a degenerate weeb. And you know what that means? It's pretty much the dead of winter, which means there's a bit of a drought of high profile fights for me to waste my life over analyzing. But that doesn't mean I'm not coming to all two of my viewers with no content this week. No, with most of America freezing over and me being stuck indoors now most of the time, I had the brilliant idea to make a follow-up video to my fall upcoming fights video, which got virtually no views. So even though the winter typically doesn't have many fights to look forward to, there are a few upcoming fights I want to preview, so here I am wasting my time again with my winter upcoming fights. This is not a podcast. This upcoming Saturday at the time of recording this is the much anticipated rematch between Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. And I'm going to cut right to the cum shot. Andy Ruiz stops Anthony Joshua again. That's it. Pack it up. Next up.
Lame.
Alright. Just 6 months after getting stopped by Andy Ruiz on short notice, the rematch is happening, and there's a few reasons why I think we see the same outcome. Now, I'm not that great at doing predictions or doing pre-fight breakdowns, but I have noticed that in boxing, history tends to repeat itself. Now, what I mean by that is more times than not, whenever we see a rematch in boxing, we usually see the same fight play out, or at least the same result. At least that's what I've noticed. Unless one fighter makes a ton of changes and executes on those changes in the rematch, there's really no reason why we would see another fight between those same people change drastically as well. If we see a really close fight take place like Pacquiao and Marquez, we'll see another close fight, or maybe another 4 close fights, no matter how much time passes, because they're the same guys with the same trainers. If we see a fight where there was a late knockout, a lot of the times we see another knockout in the rematch, sometimes faster than the first fight. If someone gets outboxed and outclassed in the first fight and they have a rematch, they get outboxed and outclassed in the rematch. But enough of my shitty opinions, and back to Ruiz and Joshua. It's only been 6 months since the first fight, where Joshua was pretty badly battered and took quite a bit of damage. I just think it's too soon for him to jump right back in with the guy who took his belts, his undefeated record, and made him quit, although I do think it was smart for him to call it quits there. Not only that, but Joshua was also pretty much forced into taking this rematch. Now, of course, I don't have any evidence of this. I'm too lazy to look into it. What do you think? I'm ESPN? No, but Andy Ruiz thinks that this is the case, and guys like Boxing Ego dug up some interviews that would lead you to believe that this is the case. I don't really buy into all the questionable interviews Joshua has been giving in the build-up to this rematch. Everyone else is focusing on how Joshua is apparently contradicting himself in interviews, or seems to show the tiniest shred of lack of confidence in his interviews. I'm one who doesn't really pay attention to that when predicting a fight. At the end of the day, when it's just the two of them in the ring, it's a fighting competition, not a talking competition. Everyone wants to focus on what's going on outside of the ring, when they should be focusing on what happened inside of the ring when they first fought. Ruiz was winning almost every round, dropped Joshua multiple times, and made him quit only 6 months ago, only half a year ago. So what improvements has made Joshua to ensure that the same thing doesn't happen again? Nothing, because he doesn't even have enough time to fully heal from the first fight. And that's all I have to say on that. You can watch the fight if you're a bitch and subscribe to DAZN, or you can pirate it like everyone else. On December 14th, Terrence Crawford returns against Egidijus, aka Meme Machine, and I'm going into this fight expecting the same thing we get from all of Crawford's fights. He wins and we forget about it, and that's because I recall his last fight the same way I recall my 21st birthday. Not because I was blackout drunk, of course, because it was the same as any other day. Now, I'm actually really looking forward to this one because I think this is going to be a really good fight. I think it's a decent test for Crawford, being that Mean Machine is a game upcoming welterweight, and it's a big jump up for Mean Machine because he's been steamrolling everyone he's fought in his quick rise up the ranks. However, styles make fights, of course, and Mean Machine hasn't really shown anything besides devastating punching power. Is his defense going to hold up against Crawford? I don't think so. I think Crawford will just take his time, pick Mean Machine apart in the early rounds, move around a lot, frustrate him, then hurt him with a counterpunch late, and get the stoppage. I don't think this goes past 10 rounds, and that's because I haven't seen Mean Machine show the skills needed to beat Crawford. a commanding jab, good defense, and most importantly, superior counterpunching skills. Crawford is one of the best boxers in the world, so naturally, what it takes to beat someone like him isn't a certain style, but someone who is simply a better boxer than him. Side note, if you're wondering why this fight is even happening, it's because Top Rank is running out of opponents to feed Crawford, so they're putting all of their welterweight roster on a super fast track to the top so they can fill their event quota for ESPN. So am I counting out Mean Machine in this one? Yeah, well, no. There's always a chance for him to miraculously catch Crawford with one shot. In the undercard of that same event, Richard Commey defends his IBF lightweight title against the Fortnite dancing contender Teofimo Lopez. Now, let's keep this between you and me, but I've never seen Richard Commey fight live. Either way, he is the champion. He KO'd Ray Beltran to win the belt, which is pretty impressive, I guess, but he also lost a split decision to Robert Easter a few years ago, and that's about as far as my knowledge of Commey goes, unfortunately. He's up against Teofimo Lopez, who everyone and their mom thinks is the next best thing since tuna melt sandwiches, and I can't help but wonder why. I know why. He's had a few impressive performances recently and does Fortnite celebrations, gaining him a lot of social media clout. But for God's sakes, we need to slow our roll down. The kid's only 22. He's only had 14 professional fights, and this is his first world title fight. Let the kid do something great before we all shove our expectations on him. Let him actually grow a bit as a fighter. Everyone wants to see him fight guys like Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Ricky Burns right away. Well, the winner of this fight is probably going to unify with Lomachenko afterwards. But the point is that why are we rushing all of these big fights? Let them build up. Let them develop. I do think Teofimo is a good fighter, but I also think his skills are a tad bit overrated and needs time to grow as a fighter. I would make a prediction, but like I said, I've never seen Richard Commey fight live, so I can't. Stay tuned for more award-winning predictions from the channel you've come to know and love. The last fight I'm looking forward to is another rematch, this one between Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo. Now before I break this one down, I have a confession to make. I originally planned on making a film study for the first fight shortly after it happened, so I started studying the replay and I always fall asleep watching it. I've tried on 3 different occasions. I'd start up the replay, start paying close attention, and the next thing I know, I'm knocked the fuck out cold by round 3. Not to say they fight boring, no. It's just watching a close fight that you already know the outcome to tends to lull me to sleep. Any sport, actually. I like to watch to fall asleep too. Not that they're boring, it's just watching something for a long time can be hypnotic, I guess. But I'm getting too far off topic here. I've already said how I feel about rematches. Boxing history tends to repeat itself, regardless of the outcome, whether you think Harrison won the first fight or Charlo won the first fight. I think we'll see a very similar fight play out, unless one guy makes a huge change. Now, I can't make it past the 5th round of the first fight without falling asleep, but from what I've seen in those rounds, I liked what Charlo was doing. So based on that, I think we see the same thing play out in the rematch, but this time with Charlo getting the decision. So I'm going to be completely honest here, I didn't know what to make a video on this week. There's no high profile fights that took place this past weekend worth making a film study on. So my lazy ass is coming to all 2 of you who bother watching this no-life violence junkie with the fact that I have nothing to analyze today. Yep, pack it up, nothing to see here. But for those of you who are still here, I am happy to announce that your boy now has Adobe Premiere Pro. This means that we're going to start seeing a shift in style for the upcoming videos. I'm going to be experimenting with new styles now that I have the software to make them a reality, so yeah, look forward to that as I figure out how to use these tools. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe or else I'll delete your Pornhub account.
I turn the blood to a rug with dreams of being a beetle. Don't want to, I need to. You gotta learn to keep it so quick. But when you come up in a place where everyone got a piece but ain't peaceful, this is just part 1 way to the sequel.
Hey guys, so it's me from the future, and me being the YouTuber that I am, I noticed that this was dangerously close to 10 minutes, so yeah, let's just try to make this video 10 minutes just because I'm a degenerate YouTuber and Just need to get that time up there. How much time was it that I needed? I think it was 25 seconds. So there it is. It's 10 minutes. See ya.